영상이 시작되기 전에 먼저 등장할 5개의 문장을 보여드릴게요. 빈칸에 들어갈 표현을 유추해보세요. 단어 하나하나를 직역하지 않고 전체 의미에 맞게 의역하고자 노력합니다. 그게 바로 영어식 사고의 출발이에요. 그럼 시작해볼까요?
Feel kind of stuck. That plateau feeling. Within that sustained context, your brain starts to notice things. It's building a feel for it, an instinct. The natural phrasing, it just comes forward. It just feels right.
Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're jumping into something a lot of you have asked about, really getting your English fluency to the next level, especially if you're, intermediate and feel kind of stuck.
Yeah, that plateau feeling.
Exactly. This deep dive is really about how you're learning and maybe what's missing. And we know many of you are doing tons of listening already, often short clips, repeating them, which is great for pronunciation, for recall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely has its place. But what the sources are suggesting, this sort of quiet truth, is that getting stuck often isn't because the method is wrong per se.
Okay.
It's more that it might be incomplete.
Okay.
There's often a lack of balance.
Balance. How so?
Well, that repetition listening, it gives you like the individual pieces of the language puzzle, which you need for sure.
Right. The vocabulary, the pronunciation.
Exactly. But without what our sources call flow-based listening, it's just really hard to see how those pieces actually connect in, real flowing conversation.
Flow-based listening. Okay, that sounds interesting. So what does that actually mean in practice? Especially if you're used to hitting pause all the time.
Yeah, good question. It's basically about following a longer piece of audio or video that sticks to one main topic.
Longer. Like what?
I think maybe a full business interview you might hear online, or a news report that doesn't jump around too much, maybe a TED Talk, even a short documentary segment.
Gotcha. So sustained listening on one theme.
Precisely. And the key thing is, within that sustained context, your brain starts to notice things almost unconsciously. You hear how certain words, certain phrases naturally group together around that topic.
Yeah, so it's not just random words anymore.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's about the patterns. Your brain is a pattern-finding machine, right?
Yeah.
So it starts mapping these connections.
Did the sources give specific examples? Like, how does this clustering actually show up?
Yeah, they did. Good ones, too. For instance, if you're listening to, say, business news or discussions,
Okay.
you'll keep hearing verbs like expand or invest, announce, maybe cut or hire.
Standard business talk.
Right. But then you notice they almost always appear with certain nouns. Things like budget, revenue, product line, maybe headcount.
Makes sense. Higher headcount, cut the budget.
Exactly. And then you layer on the adverbs words like sharply or gradually or unexpectedly. They give it nuance, like revenue increased sharply, or they cut the budget unexpectedly.
I see. So it's less about drilling individual words and more about absorbing these natural partnerships.
That's a great way to put it, partnerships. The aha moment the sources talk about is when your brain clicks and starts to see how these expressions interact in context. That's where real language awareness starts to build.
So the big difference here isn't memorizing flashcards of phrases, it's building a feel for it, an instinct.
An instinct, exactly. A sense of how English flows in the real world. And that instinct, it doesn't come from isolated sentences in a textbook.
No, it comes from hearing the language live and breathing around one single idea.
Yeah, like creating a little ecosystem for that topic in your head. Your brain gets the raw data it needs to connect the dots naturally.
And the payoff for that.
Well, the big outcome over time is what the sources call linguistic intuition.
Linguistic intuition. I like that.
It's powerful. You're not just learning vocabulary lists, you're internalizing the system.
And I guess that intuition then turns into confidence.
A quiet confidence, yeah. That's what the sources highlight. When it's your turn to speak or even write, your mind isn't scrambling frantically.
You're not mentally translating word by word.
No. the right way to say something, the natural phrasing, it just sort of comes forward. Not because you consciously drilled that exact sentence, but because you've heard similar things in context so often that it just feels right.
It becomes automatic.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So the direct advice pulling straight from the material is give yourself more time with full context listening.
Simple, but sounds impactful.
And the core message really boils down to this. Don't repeat listening just at the sentence level, but at the paragraph level, the story level. That will make you fluent.
That really shifts the focus, doesn't it? From micro details to the bigger picture. It makes you think. This whole idea of full context or flow-based learning. Where else could that apply?
That's a great question.
I mean, beyond language. What other parts of life might benefit from seeing the whole flow, the whole story, instead of just tiny separate pieces?
Not just looking at the individual trees, but seeing the forest.
Seeing how all the parts connect and interact.
A really powerful thought, not just for getting fluent, but maybe for understanding things more generally.
영어와 시사경제 두 마리 토끼를 한 번에 잡는 알찬 시간 되셨다면 구독과 좋아요를 꾹 눌러주세요. 감사합니다.